talked a little bit about planning, what you want to do. Think about the tree that you planted, where you've put it, and what you want it to develop as. Most times people are planting them as shade trees. You want the tree to develop and provide shade for a certain area. So you want to try and encourage, not only work toward your elevation, your limb level, but you want to try and encourage a good branching structure going out in all directions. Say for example, if this tree were to be planted in this location and you've got this shed behind it, you want to try and really discourage some of the limbs that are growing right out toward the shed. You might want some, as it gets bigger, encourage them to grow out over it so you have some shade, although you wouldn't want them to go too far, because if they happen to break off in a storm, then you've got damage for your building. But you certainly want to encourage it out in all other directions and encourage those limbs to grow as best you can. The other thing I like to, and this goes into, I've done some training classes for forestry crews in the cities that are doing pruning along the streets and encouraging good growth in the trees. And something you kind of have to, I guess this would take pruning to the next level in what you're learning to do. And basically how I explain that, if you've got a limb and you can't prune it off because that you're going to take it up too high if you were to prune it off, you may want to look at the tree, okay, knowing that this limb is going to come off at some point. Look at what's above it and what you want to encourage to grow instead of discouraging to grow. In other words, you want when you take this off, you want a good branch above it to be set, to be established, so when you take it off, you're not going to lose a whole lot on this side of the tree. So sometimes anything you can do to encourage one to grow out in a certain direction, whether it be by cutting back, doing some directional pruning. If you cut to a certain bud, you can encourage it to grow in a direction. Or whether it's favoring one over another. If you've got 3 branches that are growing, you might want to take 1 or 2 of them out and let one develop out in that area. But that's something that's hard to do because you're thinking about the lower part of the tree, you're not really thinking about the upper part of the crown, but you do have to take it to the next level and think about that, try and encourage good growth in the tree.